take it. Got it! Boston wins!
Two legends in basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
You're listening to the Bob Ryan, Gary Tanguay podcast, proud member of the CLNS Media Network. The show is brought to you by Prizepicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. Prizepicks. Run your game. Okay, Bob, here we go. I'm back at it. Damian Lillard, back where he started. Your thoughts?
Very interesting route that he's taken to get back to Portland. I heard yesterday that, or someone had said, he's very happy to be back in Portland. Okay, I was apparently under the very mistaken impression that he whined his way out of Portland and wound up in Milwaukee, where he thought he could win some championships with Giannis. And it didn't work out, as we know. Didn't work out that great on the court, and then he got hurt, and now he's hurt and with the Achilles and all that. So, but meanwhile, they waived him, which tells me that they weren't even worried about getting anything for him. That they weren't that happy, or just want to get rid of the contract. So whatever, he's going to be back, but he's not going to be playing for another year, right? We guess. So, but he's back, and the guy is interesting. The guy, he's at his best, he's been a terrific player. In case anybody forgets, because so much of his accomplishments were in Portland, and Portland's been off the radar screen for quite a while now, right? Quite a while. The Trailblazers have just been another stop on the circuit. But he's a 9-time All-Star, and he has been all the NBA first team once, all second team 4 times, and third team twice. So that's 7 appearances on the all-league teams. I voted for him on the top 75 at number 75. He was my waiver. I forget who I was debating, but he won my Melo coin flip. So, good luck to him, and Portland. But what it says about Milwaukee, they interesting. They're just happy to get rid of him, I guess. But he wasn't going to play this year either. All right, so that's Damian Lillard.
Do you know him at all?
No, never had any. I don't look. Remember, I retired in 2012 from the league and from everything, and so I truly cannot say that I have an acquaintance with a single player in the NBA today. They're all gone.
I've never heard a bad thing about Damian Lillard. Never, not once. Mm-hmm. I just don't know his personality. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't know what. No, I never heard a thing about him other than this ball playing. But I got the impression that he forced his way out of Portland.
I think, and this may be revisionist history on my part. I think he really liked playing in Portland for his entire career, but it was a chance to win a title. It's one of those.
Okay, all right.
There. So I don't think again, my impression, I don't think like he hated Portland. I think it was like, I'm 35. Maybe I can get a ring if I go to Milwaukee for a year. Right? It didn't work out, and he's back. I never got the impression like he hated the city or the team. It was just like, okay, well, this is it for me. If I'm going to get a ring, I better make a move.
It's funny. He signed a 3-year contract, right? They say at 42, and that's 14 a year, and it no longer sounds impressive.
I know.
14 in a year.
I know.
This is where we are. It speaks so much to the money, the monopoly money world that they inhabit, that his 14 doesn't raise an eyebrow, for the service he's going to render. He's not going to be rendering any service comparable to those 7 times on the all league teams I just cited. It's not going to happen. No. But they're going to pay him $14 million. And okay, that's
it's a cash in, cash out.
Oh my God.
And when you look at the fact that the Celtics were sold for $6.1 billion,
yeah,
the money's in the bank. It's in the account. So it's like that.
I know. I'm just laughing. And I go back to my John Havlicek got a contract for $250,000. People thought they were breaking the bank. I
know. It's the end of the world. Well, good luck to Damian Lillard. I've always been a fan. I would actually like to know him. He's been a stand-up guy. I think he's been a terrific player. Okay. Now let's talk about Cooper. Plays 2 preseason games and they say, okay, we're good. 2 summer league games.
Yeah.
All right, you're good. You don't need to do this.
First of all, you just put a song in my head. You put Spanky in our gang. You got to get to know you in my head. I'm going to be stuck with this all day now. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Okay, now, yeah, Cooper, 2 games. Did he really need any of them?
No.
And was it just, I know ESPN's happy because they wanted this. They got to get him versus Bronny. They got a game. I, if they're pulling him because they don't want him to get hurt,
Sure.
They should have never put him out there in this summer league in the first place. They're going to have, what's he need to prove? I don't know really what that was all about for him. But Cooper, my first thought was, oh my God, they don't want him to get hurt. And then somebody put out to me, no, wait a minute, why did he even bother? So, he didn't get hurt. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now we saw 2 games. We saw the range of skill. First game, he didn't shoot well. Okay. He was 5 for 21 or something like that. But guess who made the big play to win the game? Apparently blocks a shot, goes down, makes a great pass. They win the game. And that's what the beauty of him is, that he touches all the bases.
Right.
He's not going to lead the league in scoring. He doesn't want to. Nobody wants him to. That's never going to be the thing. He's not going to lead the league in rebounding. He's not going to lead the league in assists. But he's going to be up there in all 3. He's always going to be there. We know that. I mean, that's what they're hoping for. That's what we think we're going to have with this guy. And I'll say it for the millionth time by saying it, how lucky he is personally that, unlike the preponderance of number 1 draft picks to go to a shit team that have to make him the savior, that is far from the case.
Right.
As we know. He's going to a team where he will be able to casually fit in to help augment what they already have and broaden their whole arsenal without being asked to be the man. That's a very lucky break for him.
Yeah, I think that's a winning formula. When you have a player that's looking to do that and you're not looking at individual accolades, you're looking at a winning formula. Like you said, he does not have to do it alone. And Bob, the more I observe people, here's a deep question, Bob. I'm going deep. I've had this discussion with friends of mine, nature versus nurture. And people are, and I understand it, surprised that Cooper Friend comes out of, rural Maine at 6'10" and is now a potential NBA Rookie of the Year. He's a first-round draft pick, so forth and so on. I think it's nature versus nurture. I think that Cooper Friend could have been born in New York City, and he would have been a number 1 pick.
Oh, in this case, yeah. There's something. Remember, he's got genes. Mother was a standout player. Father played, so there's some genetic thing going on there. But and far better than I that there's a culture that people don't realize about high school basketball.
What's big?
Male and female in the state of Maine.
It's mini Indiana. And I said many people, mini Indiana.
But still, it's a culture.
Yeah.
And people don't, and so that helps. That's a good point. But you think about where guys come from. Larry Bird came from Indiana. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But a portion of Indiana that was not respected. People doubted Larry Bird even when he was named. People were upset that he made All-State because nobody's supposed to be that good out of Orange County where he grew up. There's a hierarchy in Indiana. You're talking about Muncie Central. You're talking about Indianapolis. Central, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. But you're not talking about Springs Valley High School in Orange County. But Larry, broke the mold. Came out, broke the mold there. Anyway, good point. Yeah, the kid was put on the earth to play basketball. I think.
And what I'm always amazed by people at this stage is his mental makeup. I mean,
yeah.
The fact, you're 22 years old. No, what is he? 20?
Oh, he's 19.
19.
Oh,
19. Sorry.
He's going to be 19. He's not 19. 19.
He's 19. He comes from Corinth. I forgot the town. It's right outside of Bangor.
Newport.
Newport. I've been by it a million times, Newport. And, he ends up, he plays, goes to IMG, I think. Then he goes to Duke. Then he goes to the NBA, and he doesn't bat an eye. He doesn't get intimidated. He doesn't bat an eye.
Go back to how the world discovered him, which was the summer of 2024. No, the basketball world knew about him. The cognoscenti, okay. But he was introduced to us at the World Championships when he was part of the team, the opposition team they constructed to play against our world championship team.
Right.
Okay. And he was the youngest guy, he was 18. And there were times on the court when he dominated against the NBA stars
Right.
at 18. No, he's 17 then. His birthday's in January. So, he was 17. That's jaw-dropping. And that's one of the most amazing things about basketball, development I've ever heard in my entire life as a guy that age making an impression. Even if you made a minor impression, to make a major impression against that level of competition at age 17 is astonishing. There's very, 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 very few people in our history that could ever have thought about doing anything like that. So, yeah, he's special. There's no doubt.
Do you have any Celtic thoughts?
No, nothing new. I mean,
there's nothing really going on. I didn't know if you saw.
No, I mean something. No, I'm just I'm waiting to see if Brad, what else, if he has anything up his sleeve, if he's going to come up with something. And and Brad, we trust. I'm Brad, I trust. And if not, we go to war with this team. We've talked about it, and we're going to, it's aspiring to go 500, make the playoffs. Make the play-in. I'm resigned to that. There's no question about that. So I mean, without Tatum, it's a different world. So anyway, no, I can't advance the story at all.
You saw anything in the summer league or something like that?
No, I mean, we've got a glimpse of Gonzalez, and there's some, it's interesting. I can see why he's a first round pick. When first round there's 30 players. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see about him. It's the big issue, of course, is trying to find to develop a big man somewhere. We know that. We talked about that, and we all know that. So what they're going to get out of the so-called 5 spot, that's going to be a huge issue.
Hold that thought, Bob. We'll get back to Bob in just a minute. Prizepicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prizepicks. Now, Prizepicks puts members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. With my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And they invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Now, the second half of Major League Baseball is underway. All right, All-Star games in the books. You're ready to rock and roll. So what are you thinking here? I mean, of course, you're always going to be thinking about Judge. 2 or more home runs in a game, just pick more or less. Zach Wheeler, strikeouts, Phillies, more or less. 4 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts in a game. I don't know. Take your pick and make your selection on Prizepicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's story time. Bob Ryan, we're going to go back in the Bob Ryan Commissioner NBA time machine, sound effects.
Oh.
1975, 75.
Yep. The question has come up of what's the biggest upset in NBA finals? And to me, there's not even a dispute. And one of the most intriguing finals of its type ever. And that was 1975, when the mighty Washington Bullets, coming off another 60-win season, having dispatched the Celtics in 6 games in the Eastern Conference, go up against the upstart Golden State Warriors, who shocked the Chicago Bulls and got to the finals with Rick Barry and the 11 Dwarfs. At least that's in the mind of people, And Rick Barry had a tremendous year, worthy of MVP. Didn't get it. McAdoo got it, but Barry said, "I know why I didn't get it. Nobody likes me." He did. He was well aware, and he said, "I don't care because I'm not out there to make friends. I'm just out there to win basketball games." And he did, and he certainly fulfilled that with a price he paid the rest of his career. Anyway. Here's the fascinating thing that we look at the NBA today, and when I'm about to tell people, they're going to go, "Nah, he's making it up." No, I can even give you the documentation where you can find this out. It's supposed to be a standard 2-2-1-1-1 with the home team being Washington, right? That was the format. 2-2 in Washington, 2 in Oakland, 1-1-1. Except turned out that if that held up. There was a game 3 conflict in the West Coast. Okay. Their home court, the Oakland, whatever the arena, this is before they built the
Oakland Alameda, is that the cat?
No, they had one downtown.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but where their original home court had a game 3 conflict because of the ice volleys. The ice volleys were booked. Okay. So if they had an option, because you always had the Cow Palace out there. Right. There's an option to go to the Cow Palace and play our home games in the Cow Palace, game 3. Problem, game 4 was booked for a karate championship. So the ball now goes back to the Warriors. I mean, the Bullets court. They're the home team, and they're the better record. Okay. Casey Jones has 2 options as the coach for his schedule. He gets to pick the schedule now. Okay. First option, open up away and get 3 straight at home. Second option, open at home and then go 2 on the road and go in that way. Okay. His decision was, I don't want to lose game 1. I don't want to lose game 1 at away. And then even, I just don't want to lose game 1. He thinks we got to win it. I don't want to be away. So he picks option 2, 1 home and then 2 on the road and then go from there. It's a 1-2-1. All right. Well, what happens in game 1? They lost. They lost game 1, 101-95. So now they come home, and I mean, then they go on the road. They lose that game. They lose that game at home. I remember bad, very bad. They go on the road and they lose a 1-point game, 92-91. Game 3, they lose by 8, 109-101. And in game 4, back home, they lose 96-95. And they lose. The 4 losses were by a total of 16 points, 4 points a game. It's the biggest shock. The Warriors team had guys people forget, such as Charles Johnson, Charles Dudley. The best guard was, the guards were Butch Beard and rookie Phil Smith, who was a good player. Didn't last long enough, unfortunately, with him. And the centers were Clifford Ray and George Johnson. There were 2 George Johnsons. This was George Swat Johnson. The big story, other than Barry, having a typical Barry series, was that rookie Keith Wilkes, who was 6'6" and about 190, was guarding Elvin Hayes in the peak of Elvin's career. And Elvin was 6'9" and 230 and strong. And he kicked his ass in 4 games. I'd love to see it all over again, how he did it. But I'm telling you, he outplayed Elvin Hayes, and he kept him from getting the ball, and this and that. And that really shut down the Bullets, and they couldn't overcome that. But in terms of the shock factor, it was enormous. But that schedule thing is just amusing to think about where the NBA was.
Oh my God!
Now, can you imagine now today?
No.
No, of course not.
No.
That's the funny part. So Barry, by the way, when it was all over, Barry said he was complaining that despite what they did, that Sports Illustrated, and I quote, didn't even do a cover story on us. So that was the criteria of the day.
What did Barry do after that? I'm looking it up now.
Well, he wound up with the Rockets eventually. Played against the Celtics in '81. He was a part of that losing effort against Celtics in the '81 finals.
I forgot all about that. But that was
he continued to play well. And Rick Barry is starting to fall through the cracks of history, and that's not fair. Rick Barry was a consummate scoring machine, and a great passer. He was, frankly, the best passing forward free bird, I think. And his great specialty was passing off the dribble. Him going to the basket, and he had great vision, peripheral. And I'm telling you, he had great look-away passes. He was terrific going to the basket and giving it up. He was a great scorer, but he was a jerk, although
I forgot he was an ABA guy.
Oh, well, he jumped famously after he was a rookie with the Warriors and rookie of the year and all that. And then he jumped to the ABA
Virginia.
to play for his father-in-law. He married a young lady in college named Pam Hale, and Father Bruce was the coach of the Oakland Oaks of the ABA. He went to play for his father-in-law.
Wow.
That people forget that, and then he eventually came back, as we know, and he's an all-time player. He's the top, fill in the blank, 15, 20 at the worst. Some people think more, and that's fine. But his persona, and people remember him as a broadcaster, and people booing him in the Garden that year. In '76, he was part of the broadcast team for CBS in the finals against the Celtics in Phoenix. And at the Garden, people gave him 10 tons of shit in the Garden. I can tell you that.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, he was arrogant as hell. Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I liked him. He was one-on-one, and I liked him. But he was arrogant, and he didn't care. He did not care. He did not care. So there you go. And of course, we famously fathered 4 basketball-playing sons. That all 4, no, 3 of them played in the NBA.
Right.
Including Drew, who won a dunk contest, and Scooter at Kansas had famous free throws in the championship game, and so he fathered. He fathered a little mini dynasty. Anyway, the '75. You cannot exaggerate the scope.
And just so people know, Keith later became Jamal with the Lakers.
Yes, he was originally right. So people know him as Jamal with the Lakers. He changed. I don't know when he went for the official name change. Whether it was even after 1 year or 2, but it was fairly early. Okay. So that's it, 75. But that whole machination about the schedule, I'll never forget it. It's great.
Do you think that did that series do anything good for the league? Because it was not the Celtics, it was not the Bullets, it was not the Knicks, it was not the Lakers.
I may have buried the lead, because when most people think about it, they don't realize about the schedule. But that's what they can't forget. And shame on me right here for omitting it until now. First meeting of 2 black coaches in the NBA Finals.
Right, Casey and Al.
That was historic. Now there's a milestone. Very important. Very important. And so, yes, that's how it's going to be remembered forever and ever, is that's for sure.
Now, Casey won 3 championships, right? 2 with the Celtics as
a head coach. 2 with the Celtics, and he was assistant coach with the 71-72 Lakers.
Okay. He didn't win. He was the head coach of the Bullets too, right?
And they didn't win.
I mean, with that, but didn't they win one in '79? Or was he not coaching them?
Not with him. That was Dick Motta.
That was Dick Motta. Okay.
He was gone.
Okay.
He was gone. But he's got the most rings of anybody because of his Celtics. I think.
Oh yeah.
Of all.
I always felt bad because I felt that '75 series. I thought that Casey got a bad rap and didn't get the respect he deserved as a coach.
Yeah, you know why? Because they phoned in on a timeout in which he didn't run the timeout. And I think his assistant Bernie Bickerstaff did. And people took that as some kind of sign that Casey, didn't know what he was doing, which is not fair at all. He's a quiet guy. He's humble. And he was more than happy to turn over to his trusted assistant. I think, he got a bum rap out of that. My feeling, I think he was the right coach for the 85-86 Celtics.
Sure.
Wrong coach for the 86-87 Celtics. Casey knew basketball very well, and he knew how to win, and guys wanted to play for him.
Right.
Those guys wanted to run through the wall for you. Talk to Bill Walton. This is so funny. You couldn't be more, in terms of detail, you couldn't be more far apart than John Wooden and Casey Jones. Casey was not about detail, at all. He's about feel. And Walton spoke as glowingly about God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He spoke as glowingly about KC at times to me as he did about John Wooden, and he worshipped John Wooden. So the guys wanted to play for him, and Casey was a wonderful man, a wonderful, gracious guy.
Sweet guy. Did you ever hear him sing?
Yes, he was for real. Yes, thank you. He was the king of the lounge. He'd go to the piano bar, and his 2 signature songs were "You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You" and "Close to You," the Carpenters song. Yeah.
Well, the reason I know that is because I was working for a radio station in New Hampshire at the time. Good old WERZ, today's hits, yesterday's classics, in which, Bob Ryan, on their AM station, we played the sounds of Sinatra with Sid Mark, of all people.
Oh, Sid Mark. Absolutely.
Now, that was also one of my jobs out of college, sitting there playing Sinatra records.
Oh, that's great.
And Casey's show, I don't know if it was a paid appearance, because at that time, the Celtics, anybody on the Celtics was making appearances everywhere, like it's bowling, and it was easy money for them. I mean, they go up to like Portsmouth or wherever. And he went to the sports bar in Dover. And I don't know if it was a paid appearance or if he was just passing through, but he picked up the mic. It was great. I mean, it was great.
Legitimate singing voice. No, it was great.
But I mean that made, this is what you try to convey, or you want to convey to professional athletes and so forth. But that made somebody's like year. Like the bartender. He or she had a story for the rest of their life.
You know what just flashed across my mind, and I don't know that it ever happened. I wish I would have thought about it myself. I would have tried to broker it. Are you ready? What if he were singing accompanied by Rick Carlisle on the piano?
Oh, that would have been great. Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great.
I don't know if that ever happened. It's conceivable. I have to ask Carlisle.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they with technology today, if somebody was recording a case.
Anyway, that would have been, but for some people who don't know, Rick Carlisle was a self-taught piano player.
Right.
But that's one of his signatures when he came in the league. We found out that this guy played piano. He used to sit down in lobbies and wherever and sit down and play the piano for us.
Well, all right, Robert, we will talk to you next week. Bob Ryan in Storytime is always here. On the Bob Ryan Gary Tanguay podcast, proud member of the CLNS Media Network. The show is brought to you by Prizepicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. Prizepicks. Run your game.